Chapter 4. The name is. Some rookie space pirate recruits were walking down a hall in Reception. A large door opened with a heavy noise in front of them. Wow! There was a sparkling luck ship and Sirio and his crew along with President Daruma. Some party poppers went off. Welcome, new lucky warriors, President Daruma said. We were waiting for you. Makihi and several others were watching the recruiting from the observation room of the Reception. The Fortune fleet took a short distance jump, and Reception moved to keep up with the big Daruma. Ahaha. No matter how you look at it, this whole display of theirs is so flashy, Washa said from behind Makihi. Makihi's daughters bowed and left the room. Mato went out with them. Oh my, I guess they didn't like it? They seemed pretty traumatized from the scan she did with Mr. Slimy number 3. Maya, who remained there, was concealing herself behind Makihi and her legs were trembling a little. I don't blame them, that was quite an ordeal, Makihi said calmly. Yes, but I got some good data from it. Speaking of, why did you have me keep Maya here? Do you have any news about Seina's compatibility results? It's too soon for that, but I'll let you know when I know. Then what is it? Your daughter's genetics are fine. I see no sign of any future mental problems developing, and it seems like they all have a very high stress tolerance. When dealing with Seina, that's a good thing. Oh, how wonderful to hear. Makihi gladly looked at the data being presented by Washu. Her kids with Seina might be born with a biased probability too, but that is a difficult thing to predict. I don't see any anomalies happening with Seina's DNA. Is it possible to check probability fluctuations? Well, with a group like a big family it's advantageous that you have so many people to check. But do you have to use Mr. Slimy number 3? Oh no, that's just a fetish of mine. I'm using Mamoru-kun for Maiko-chan. I could have used it for all of them. Maiko was Mato's twin sister. Please do so. By the way, Ms. Washu, why did you call Maya here? Makihi kept laughing and pushed Maya forward as Maya protested with watery eyes. Oh yeah, I told you that there were girls who caused Seina's probability to change, didn't I? Maya is one of them. What we know now is that they reverse Seina's probability vector in groups of 4. It seems that there was an incident with his original astral in the past. Now, because it has melted into the astral sea, I don't know exactly who the original was, but something happened back then in those days when they existed. What do you mean? I can't tell, but it has been said that once an intense change in the astral sea was caused by 4 women and 1 male, and the 3-dimensional world was reshaped as a result of the intense change. Is it tied to destiny? Oh, if you want you can put it in such a romantic way. Washu, actually Maya, who showed interest in the story, came out from hiding behind Makihi. Occasionally I have a strange reoccurring dream, which is painful to talk about, but in it I become a certain person and have various experiences. Maya has told me about this dream from long ago, but I thought that it was due to her being raised in Reception. You know how we get people from all over talking about everything. Reception was a place privy to many stories from all over. All kinds of plays, movies, books, scenario data, etc. were gathered from classics to sci-fi. Maya had lived in that enormous data library from the moment she was born. That's why I am concerned about the material from the Earth that Washa brought me. I feel something really nostalgic. I have seen some of those places, but honestly, I'm curious why up to this point I have never remembered them. Do you think it's because I told you those stories? As a result of comparing the original astral structure known at the moment with the astral configuration of Maya, they are 34% in agreement. There is a possibility that it will be even higher if she learns more about it. What does that mean? Is that number high? Memory feedback begins to occur from the astral sea when it exceeds 10%. It's said that causes a faint feeling of déjà vu about a previous life, but in Maya's case, because that number is so high, the possibility that memories will come back from the feedback is very high. Seina is my destiny, Maya muttered with a look like euphoria on her face. Hey, look, I get that she's been interested in this for quite a while, but as a mother, should I be applying the handbrake? Washu approached Makihi. It can't be helped, like she said, it's her destiny. Even so, what if it were me? If it were my husband or son, I would abandon my current position and I would be going to stop them. Well, if anything, I don't think she's fallen too hard for Sana, Makihi said with a shaky face. Makihi had never seen Maya look so euphoric. Washu breathed a small sigh, remembered the other women who were around Sana. Ahaha. Speaking of falling heavy for Sana, there are plenty of others, Eri-chan, Mikamidano, Sito, etc., so it might be okay to send her after him. With Sana there are always excellent watchdogs in the room. Well then, I guess you can go after him as long as you come back here soon. I need to brief you on the new renovations we will be doing to Reception. Finally, things had settled down. Sito took Fuku back to the Kamidake's bridge. The Kamadake was going to the space where it first performed the first short-distance jump and link experiment with the Mikagami. The Galactic Federation is then going to search for the Daruma Guild's base. Are the lucky ships that much of a threat? As a result of detailed investigation, I found that the existence of the lucky ships is amplifying the biased probability of the entire Daruma Guild. It's still not known how or how much, but it can be said that the GP's income and expenditures are already about 3% lower and higher respectively than last year. That number was comparable to the annual budget of a few medium-sized nations. Are you serious? Well, beyond the GP, there's no doubt that more serious damage has befallen the various general corporations, so it's an urgent matter. Gah, this is all because of that idiot. Well, what is Tenan Zaibatsu doing in this situation? Aren't they in a position to recall Professor Sirio? No, and it's useless to try to get them to. They're feeling no economic pressure over there. Well, I have it on good authority from a source that the Tenan conglomerate is hurting the most from all this. Amain said. Sito looked with a wry smile so as to affirm Amain's words. The fact that Sirio caused a lot of damage to the Galactic Federation meant that the Tenan conglomerate's expenses for exporting were now much higher, and all their shipments were exports to the Daruma Guild after all. I feel a little sorry for them. Don't waste effort sympathizing with that idiot. Well, the GP has already given top priority to shooting the Fortune ship down, but no one has been able to find it yet. Of course, the damage caused by the space pirates is increasing, but I expect the Kamadake will put an end to this before that happens. The captain's bad luck versus Mr. Tenan's good luck, who will win? What the? Sito noticed that Kariko was suddenly staring at the monitor and was silent. What's wrong with you? Sito-sama, the captain's bad luck has won. The main monitor showed the waveform scene from a hyperspace jump out. There's no mistake. That's a lucky ship judging from the energy to mass ratio. Oh ho 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 ho, the Federation's hardships are over. Truly, Sito could only laugh at this situation. What was I even worried about? The Mikagami was stored in the Kamadake subspace. They prepared it to leave for normal space. A few seconds later, the Fortune ship that led the fleet had jumped out. We meet again, Sana Yamada. Are you ready for us to defeat you? Sirio confidently laughed as he broadcasted video to the Kamadake from the Unko's bridge. However, contrary to Sirio's good mood, there was a cold expression on the faces of the crew around him. Surrender quickly, you idiot. Amain, why do we have to be enemies? Oh well, such is fate. Sana, sink every one of that idiot's luck ships. Make them into his coffin. Ahaha, this is no ordinary luck ship. No. Nope. Negative. Let me unveil this ship's new name. Suddenly the crew looked afraid. Hey, stop it. You don't have to tell everyone, Kamachi quickly said in an effort to stop him. The other crew members greatly appreciated this. What are you saying? You told me it's proper for combatants to give their names before a fight. That's true, but... yeah, that's what I thought. No, wait a moment. That's true. But now is a bit different. It's different. Kamachi quickly corrected herself, but Sirio didn't hear her. Sana Yamada, listen carefully. Don't be afraid to hear the name of this ship. Hey, get him off the line. I have no control. The captain's seat has priority. Barry yelled with a crying face. The name of our ship. That name that means to bring forward luck. Wait a moment. All of the crew jumped out of their seat to hold Sirio back all at once. However, Sirio dodged their attacks. It's the Unko, he declared loudly. It's the Unko. Unko. Sirio's voice echoed on the Kamidake's bridge, which was silent. I told you, now, kill that idiot. Amain frowned and looked towards Kariko, who couldn't believe her ears. I'm sorry, what did he say? Did I hear that right? She looked at Irma. Wow, did he really? Irma looked at Neju, who looked down embarrassed. She then looked at Hakurin, but Hakurin had already entered a thought loop and was muttering nonsense. Karen turned red and trembled with teary eyes. Jaikirin hid behind Karen, Swearin lost consciousness and fell down. Maya. Fuku was looking concerned at the scene. Irma finally looked to Sito to seek help. The captain of this ship is Sena, right? She looked at Sena with eyes that seemed nostalgic and looking far away. That brings back memories of my elementary school classroom. Usually someone would find it. They would stab it with twigs or something and chase me with it. Come to think of it, Kariko-san, it was usually Kai who did that. Kariko looked at Amain while moaning with embarrassment. Amain. You were childhood friends with Sirio, right? The guy I knew in the past was chased by a Garuga at my house. He fell into the sea and is still missing. To Amain, calling Sirio a childhood friend was something she wanted to suppress. She forcibly remodeled her memory and tried to make it as if that were the truth. Who would name a ship that? What was he thinking? Sito decided to end this conversation. She looked mad. Let's prematurely incinerate and disinfect this thing before it stinks up the galaxy with strange smells. Agreed. Everyone agreed more than usual. Ha ha ha. Fire an all-out assault. Unlike the Kamidake's crew, the morale of the Unko's crew was high. They were trying to forget their embarrassment by being immersed in the battle. The fleet began to attack the Kamidake. Last time, the guns of the lucky ship fired into a gap in the shields. This time all their gunfire concentrated at the gap to try to take it out all at once. All the focused attacks were easily avoidable though. Part of the shield of the Kamidake has disappeared. The next shot will hit them. Okay. However, the shots were all focused on a vital point of the Kamidake. They were guarded against easily and scattered. What's going on? There's no energy reaction value. The shield should have disappeared. But something really shiny is coming out. What's that? That light, those are light hawk wings. Kamachi shouted. Where did it come from? It was in the Kamidake. It's a ship with a high level of performance. Its internal compression space should also be large. Everyone fire. Spread out. Link, normal. As expected, like Ryuoki, it seems reasonable that it is able to link with a royal tree. Thanks, Washu. Sito stood and muttered like a soliloquy. Leave defense to the Mikagami. Kamidake concentrate on attacking. Destroy all the ships. Fuku-chan. Do it. Maya. The Kamidake, protected by the light hawk wings, improved its hit accuracy dramatically and its defense got better without taking any evasive maneuvers. However, the attack is being reflected. The Kamidake's high-power attacks had destroyed the shields of the pirate ships with a single shot, but the armor was deflecting the shots. A KZM coating is applied to the enemy ship's outer armor. Are you serious? KZM was an expensive material used for coating the cores of gun barrels. They had never heard of using it as outer hull armor. They are the Daruma Guild, so they have the resources to do so, but the coating shouldn't be that thick. Sito said, so several attacks were concentrated, and the hull started to detach. Nonetheless, the pirate ship was named the Luckbringer. There were a few ships that were wrecked quite a bit. Fragments of KZM created a wall that dispersed attacks. The debris is making a force field. Captain. The damage rate to the fleet is expanding. Escape will be impossible in a few minutes. Retreat. Retreat all ships. We can't stand to lose a single ship to Sena Yamada. The enemy fleet is entering hyperspace. Don't let them escape. Mia, at that time, Fuku raised a bitter pained cry. Even though she heard the screams of Fuku, Sito didn't stop. No, she couldn't stop herself. Aim for the flagship. Sito, no. Gah. Sito snapped back to reality after hearing Sena's voice. She breathed heavily. Sena's ability to detect the crisis was understood by Sito. As Sena got her attention, Sito returned to sanity. No. I'm sorry, I cannot let this little critter be pushed any further. Stop pursuit immediately. Fuku, it's okay. Sana rushed to calm down Fuku. Maya yeah. Fuku, who was relieved by Sana's words, jumped off the table and ran to him. I'm sorry, it was terrible to make you control the Mikagami's power, even though your wounds aren't healed. Although she wasn't exerting much control over it, the energy of Mikagami flowed through her and was expressed through the table in the center of the kamedake. Fuku was breathless and shaking. As expected, Sana was stroking Fuku with an expression that looked sorry. Fuku licked his hand gently. Thanks to Sana stopping the battle before anything dangerous happened, Fuku was able to get up and jump the ship away not long after. You did great, Fuku-chan. The best medicine for Fuku was to be praised by Sana and Kuriko. Fuku, who was stroked by everyone, was cheerful and began to jump around. It was a risky battle, but what we got in return was also great. Sito said, watching the plasma-like space outside with a complicated expression. Originally an encounter with a lucky ship was not in her calculations. She quickly changed her mood when she thought about it. A link between the kamedake and royal trees. Now we have the valuable data we need. It was data that could be said to be the value of thousands of ships. It was key to Jurai's defense and victory. The newcomer space pirates were at the docks talking about their situation. Why did they name it that? For the newcomer space pirates, the ship's name was more trouble than the kamedake. It's useless to question it. That was the captain and Daruma's decision. My parents will be so ashamed. They boasted to all their neighbors and acquaintances. Mine too. But as soon as they heard the name, their smiles faded. Now the neighbors have begun to talk bad about them. My girlfriend broke up with me. I wish we had been blown up by the kamedake. While saying that, the rookie space pirates looked up again at some lucky scarecrows. I hope we get reassigned. You want a reselection of the whole crew? Daruma and Sirio enjoyed dinner at Recepti's finest restaurant. Yeah, I have no need for those extra ships. Indeed, we should consolidate each of the luckiest members into one ship. Yes, we need one large heap of luck. That's the key to victory, Mr. President. Well, okay, let's prompt the fleet crew to reselect immediately. Daruma smiled and lifted his glass containing a red wine-like liquid. Glory, for the Unko. For the Unko. They cheered. Oh, what's the hubbub? Washa came to the living room where breakfast was being prepared. This was a private space for Mikihi, but for the top dancer of Recepti it was quite plain, like a small old farmhouse. Are Daruma's guys doing some kind of athletic competition? On a large monitor, a tournament for selecting new members was being held in a large hall on Recepti. Well, it's more luck-based than anything. Oh, excuse me, they're having a reselection for the crew members of a single consolidated lucky ship. Washa began to eat breakfast. Mikihi was careful not to say the ship's name. I see. So they were hurt by the kamedake plus Mikagami combination, so they're going to narrow down the number of people? In the big hall, many space pirates were trying various kinds of games of luck. A stepping stone in a pond sank and they fell in. Some climbed up and ran down a wall. Some put their hands in a box and were given what was inside. A man fell through a panel on a sandy beach and fell in mud. The problem was that the expressions of those who failed were brighter than those who succeeded. The name must have been really important. For a lucky ship, it was a bit extreme. Oh haha, that's what they get for overthinking it, but what if they end up too lucky to encounter the kamedake? Is something wrong? Which way are you leaning on their fate? Oh, I see. Well, for me, it is better for Yamada to be safe, so that's good for you, I suppose. Well, damn, but aren't they supposed to be your customers? Recepti is neutral in this, and also, on the screen there was Maya participating in the games. I see, so you have to make sure your obligations are fulfilled, but naturally, getting on a lucky ship is an active battle. Is it okay for her to do so? I gave her an advanced guardian system, so she should be okay. Anyway, I would like to see how Yamada does in a fight. I could have just had her entered into the GP. Maya is the one who decided she wanted to do it. You just want to test her probability bias, don't you? I don't know how you think about the situation, Washu, but for us it's a good reason to put her life at stake. A bit dramatic, isn't it? Yes, Mikihi answered with a full smile.